What is up, guys, and welcome back to another video back here on the channel. And today we are here with another farm tutorial, and as you can probably tell from behind, we're going to be making a sugarcane farm, but not either of these two. These are just way too simple. This is just a bit of redstone. This is no redstone at all, but we got to go above and beyond, and we're going to build this. That's right, this is a flying machine based sugarcane farm, and it produces a hell of a lot of sugarcane. And the thing is, you don't have to stop here. You can make it even bigger. This is just the size I'm going to make it for today's episode. But if you wanted, you can go further out that way. But this way, the width, that is fixed length because the flying machine can only be so big. Unless you want to put another flying machine next to it, then you can go ahead and do that. But I'm just going to be showing you how to do it for this. Alright, anyway, to start off with, we're going to have to make a big platform, and it's going to be 20 by however much you want. So 20 is just this way, where all the minecart rails are, and then however long you want to go this way. But I'm going to be going with 30 that way. So first of all, we're going to have to put a block in the air, so let's just do set block, here. Let's just go stone. So then that way we can just place a block next to it, and we can count 20 by 30. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 18, 19, 20. Then we go 30. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So that's your 20 by 30 rectangle. Then you're going to want to go ahead and fill that in. Alright, now once you're done the rectangle, you're going to want to go to the side, or one of the sides, that has the length of 20. And you're going to want to go ahead and break 3 blocks like this every 2 blocks. So it'll kind of make a pattern like this. So just keep doing that all the way to the edge, and you should end with one of these. And then you're going to want to go back around and just fill those up with hoppers. So one pointing into the slab, one pointing into that hopper, and then one pointing into that other hopper. So just keep doing that all the way along as well. And it'll make sense why we place these a bit later, but for now, all you gotta know is that they have to be placed. And then after you've done that, go to these little grooves here, so where it is in set 1, count 3, and then place a redstone block. And then once you do that first one, you can just put a block gap every time, just like this. And once again, you should end with the redstone block on the edge. Alright, so once you've got these redstone blocks in place, you're going to want to count 10 from here. So let's just use an observer as a counting block. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Then on the 11th, you're going to want to place another redstone block. But this time, it's not every 2, it's all the way across. So you're going to want to go ahead, break all of this, and then place in some redstone blocks. And then you're going to want to continue this pattern every 10 and then a full strip of redstone blocks for however long you go. But with my thing, it's only going to be one more. So if we count 10 more, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And on the 11th we place one. So mine only has 2 strips, but if you go longer that way, you will obviously have more. And you can kind of judge if it's enough or not based on if your minecarts later on can actually complete the full circuit. But with this as it is, it should complete it very nicely. Okay, now to do what is probably the hardest part of the farm, but don't let that discourage you because it is not that hard at all, is the redstone. So first of all, you're going to want to go to your single hopper and then place a block and then a dropper underneath that, and do that for all of them. So it might be a bit harder in survival, but I'm sure you can manage. Alright, then once you've got that, you're going to want to place a hopper facing into it. If you're looking at it from the front like this, you're placing it on the left side. So hopper facing into the left side, then one facing in the back of that, and then one on top there. So whenever the minecarts will come, they will unload here, putting everything through to this dropper, which will then go through to a water stream, which you can connect to a storage system. And then you're just going to want to continue that for all of them. Alright, now that we got these droppers here, we're going to want to make a system that dispenses everything from them. So that's easy enough by just placing a block underneath one, placing a comparator on that block, sticky piston next to it, an observer facing into there, into the comparator that is. Then you're going to want to place a block there, that's just temporary. Then place another observer facing into that block. Then you can break this. So if you have items in here, they will keep getting dispensed until there are no more left. And I will just give that a bit of a hand. And there we go, now there are no more left. And now we're going to want to do that for every single one again. You're going to notice there is a lot of repetition, but that's what kind of makes this farm easy to build. It's just a lot of repetition and nothing too complicated. Okay, so once you've placed in all these auto dispensing systems, you're going to want to come back to your hoppers and then pick one side to begin at. I would recommend the left side, and then come a block here, so where the 2 is, go a block out and under like that. Place a comparator, if I can get it out. Place a comparator there. Place a block facing into the comparator. Then a torch there, a redstone torch. And 2 blocks like that, and I've forgotten to get a bit of redstone out. And then 2 bits of redstone like that. And that just powers the minecart, or the powered rails that will be here. And it'll unpower it when the hopper is unloading items. And now you can just tile that across, so my recommendation would just be to bridge these across and then break any blocks you don't need. Say every second one like this, you will not need. Then go on to place the comparators and then do everything else. Okay, so now that we got all those powering stations in, we can put in the rails it's actually going to be powering. So first of all, put a rail here, and you're going to want to start on this side first. So if you're facing it this way, start on the left side. So place a rail in line with these redstone, and then place normal rails, powered rail, and then normal rails everywhere except for these redstone blocks. Alright, now once you get back here, it is a bit tricky because this rail will want to connect to this. So if you're going to want to place this so it faces in that way, then it'll do that. You're just going to want to go ahead and break this and replace it, and then it'll be fine. And then you're just going to want to do the same thing over and over again. Okay, so now that you're back here again, now that you've got one powered rail on each side, you're going to want to go ahead and first of all place this on top of the hopper. So you just got one more to fill. Then you break this, place that back, place this back. That just basically makes it so it doesn't connect to this one, because if I try to do it this way, it'll connect to that one. And we don't want that, so we break that, place that, place that, place that. Then you're just going to want to continue that process over and over again until you get to the very end. Okay, so now that you've got all those rails in, you can go ahead and place some hopper minecarts in, and they should start getting on their way and start moving around. And you can just make sure that they all make it all the way around perfectly before you do anything else. And if they don't make it around because they're going a bit too slow, you can put in some extra powered rails like this, so it picks up a bit of more speed. But with just the one, it should be fine. Now you probably notice here that they just keep going around and around and around. They don't stop. And you probably don't want that because your farm's not going to be operating 24/7. So we're going to install an off switch. And to do that, we're going to come down from where this torch is, or any of the torches for that matter, and place one block there that's temporary, place a block under it, then break the temporary one. Then you're going to want to, again, just go all the way across Then we're going to be breaking every second one, just like this. And then you're going to place a torch on top of each of these blocks. And then you'll notice once they come back around, they should stop. And they seem to be bouncing back, which shouldn't happen. Oh, there we are. They're stopping now. They might just do it a couple times because they've picked up a bit too much momentum. But they will stop eventually. So all is good. Now, as you notice, now it's permanently off. So again, we're going to want to connect a switch. So come one under like this. And then bridge out across like this. Every 2 blocks, you're going to want to go in. But then on this second block out, just that goes all the way across. You're not going to have to break any. And keep going until you reach the end. And then on these 1 blocks, so where it's only every 2, you're going to want to place repeaters like this, facing into the blocks with torches. And then on this strip of blocks, you're going to want to place some redstone dust. And then here we'll place a lever where we'll power that. And you'll notice not all of them go. That's just because the signals died out. All we need is a repeater. And then those will go. And you can see they're a bit unsynchronized. But if we just stop that, they should all stop. There we go. And now if we flick it again, these ones might be a bit behind, but they should be fine. And you'll see that they kind of get off to a slow start. But don't worry, they will eventually get all the way around. Anyway, I'm going to turn that off for now because I do not need it on. Okay, so now to build where the actual sugarcane will be growing. And what you're going to want to do to start off with is go to either of these ends, it doesn't really matter, and place 2 sand blocks just floating on top of the rails like that. And you're going to want to do that all the way across wherever you see rails. So all the way across the 30 blocks until you reach the end. Then that will be the last one. And just like that. And you'll do the same on the other side. But once you get a strip of 2 on each side, you're going to want to place a gap and put stairs instead. And only this first one really needs to be a stair if you want to place slabs instead, because it might be a bit cheaper. You can just place a stair like that and then slabs across the rest like that if you really want to. But the reason I use stairs is because this edge one has to be all stairs facing like that. And then that will go all the way across until you reach the end, and then it'll curve off like that. So pretend this is the end, it'll do something like that, and then we'll fill that all in with water. Now I'm going to build all the stairs and show you what that should look like once it's done. Alright, so I figured it would be a bit easier to show you what it should look like rather than try and explain it. But this is what it should look like. And these edge stair blocks should be overhanging the rail platform by 1. Because this is where your walls are going to go up. And basically you don't need any minecarts underneath there. So yeah, this should be overhanging. Same on the other side. And then just every 2. So yeah, you got 2 stair, 2 stair, 2 stair, 2 stair. And keep on going with that pattern until you reach the other end. And I kind of just like to place the first 4 rows of stairs facing one way and then the other facing the other way, just to kind of keep it symmetrical. And then once you've got all this, you're going to want to place in some water into each of these stairs. And this is quite annoying in survival because you have to keep getting water buckets and stuff, but I would just recommend getting an infinite water source and placing it somewhere in the middle, and then just fill your inventory with buckets and just keep doing that until you eventually fill up all these with water. Also, if I didn't mention already, these sand can be dirt. It's just anything that sugarcane can grow on, but I just like the look of sand a bit more than dirt. Okay, so once you've got all your water filled in, you can go ahead and place your walls, and you're going to want to make it out of something that slime blocks cannot move. I'd recommend leaves because these are the easiest to collect. Nice and quick, and you can make the tool to collect it fairly cheaply, just 2 iron, and then just get a bunch of leaves and place it along the walls. So you're going to want to go 3 high and then all the way along for these side walls. And then the front and back wall are going to have to be a bit different. But for now, you can just fill those completely in as well. And then we can make the modifications to it later. Okay, so I just realized I've made a mistake with this wall. And as you can see, the wall is completely done. But before you start building it, you're going to want to make sure the very end layer is sitting on top of these stairs and not overhanging it. So I built it overhanging. We're going to just fix that by making it sit on the stairs. And the same on the other side, because it has to be sitting on the stairs once again. Otherwise the flying machine will be too big and it won't move at all. Anyway, now you can get back to the rest of the video. Alright, so once you've got your leaf box, you're going to want to come to either the front or the back. Doesn't really matter which first. And then you're just going to want to break this middle layer out. But leave the side still and the top and bottom. So this middle layer you're going to want to break just like that. Same for the back. And this is just to allow the flying machine to fit through and have no problems with blocks being in the way. Alright, now once you've done that, you can go ahead and place your sugarcane because it'll give it a bit of time to grow. And also, we are pretty much done for the inside of here now. Okay, so now once you've got all your sugarcane in, you can go ahead and build the flying machine. And to do that, we're first of all going to need a position where the middle of it's going to be. And to do that, all we're going to need to do is come to the left side, count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Come down to this level, and then count 1, 2 out. Place an obsidian block, and you can go ahead and break all these temporary blocks. Of course, you don't need to place those, you can just count without placing them. Alright, now you're going to want to come to this side of the obsidian, so you're back against the farm. Place an observer facing that way. If it makes it any easier, you can place a block there to face it into, just like that. But if you can manage without it, well, that's perfectly fine as well. Then place a slime block sitting against it. Then place a sticky piston to the left side of it. A slime block there. And then another sticky piston right here. Then at this point, you're going to want to place an obsidian block here, just so the flying machine doesn't accidentally get activated, because we are going to be placing another observer there, and I forgot to place the obsidian in the right spot. No, I didn't actually. All that was wrong is that I didn't extend the arm far enough. So if we build that over again, so observer, slime block, sticky piston, another sticky piston, slime block. You can see that none of these are being stopped by this obsidian. All we're going to need to do is place another slime block like that. And you'll see this is going to be able to stop it because the arm will reach all the way over like this. And then this arm will also reach all the way over. But before you reach over with this arm, put that observer back in. And make sure you watch this part of the episode before building it for the first time, because otherwise your flying machine's kind of go flying away from you. Anyway, that's this part of the flying machine done. Now we're going to need to make a returner over on the other side. Alright, so now if we come to the other side and we're again going to the left, which is the right if you're looking at it from the front, but it's the left if you're looking at it from the back, go 10 across again, so that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Then again, come down to this layer and go 2 out. Place an obsidian again, and we can go ahead and break all these blocks. And then you're going to want to place a temporary block there, an observer facing that. Then you're going to want to get some slabs out. And these can be normal blocks as well, but I'm just making out of slabs because it's cheaper. And yeah, we just do that. So it's kind of a 2 by 2 here coming out, and then 4 across like this. And then all we're going to want to do is place repeater there, dust, dust, repeater, repeater, repeater. And then we're going to set this one to 4, this one to 3, this one to 2, and leave this one as it is. Now, once we activate it on that side, the flying machine will come here, and then the observer will come here. This observer will detect it, then it will send a signal for it to go back, giving it a bit of a delay first though. Okay, so I just realized I messed something up, but I have fixed it now, and I would have given you the correct instructions through the power of editing. But basically what I did was I placed this one too far. But you would have already heard that, and regardless of what I've done, your instructions should have been correct, because even though I placed the flying machine in the wrong position because of this misplacement, yours should be in the correct position, because the calculations going 10 across is still correct. But now that I've fixed this up, this observer should line up, if we go in a straight line, with this gap here. And make sure yours does, otherwise it's in the wrong position and it won't work. But since mine does, it should work. Okay, so now that this all should be working, we can destroy this obsidian actually, just to make sure it will work. And then we're just going to basically do what we did on the other side here. So observer facing this observer. Then if we come down like this, we place 2 and then 4 like this. And this one won't affect the observer, but once we place the repeater there, it will. And we're going to want to actually first of all, just place the repeater and send it off just to make sure it works. And before it comes back, you're going to want to place a redstone block here so it doesn't activate again. And don't forget to set the delay here. This is 2 and then this is nothing. Alright, let's see if it returns. There it goes. And yeah, working perfectly. And once it comes back here, it should stop because we've powered this and it won't get powered again. Alright, there we go. Stops perfectly. And now that we've actually tested that, we can see that there's some sugarcane sitting on the floor. And to collect that, we can just activate these minecarts and see if they work as they should. There we go, they should have picked some stuff up. And sometimes they do go over that, but give it a few times and it should stop on top of there. Yeah, that one stopped. Some of them just need a bit of extra time to stop because they can be a bit tricky sometimes. There we go, some more have stopped. And some of them might not have picked up some stuff either, so that's why they might not be stopping as well. But eventually they will stop and dispense all the items. And as you can see, they currently just spit up the floor, but we will fix that later. Anyway, let's just close that up and get on to the next part of the build. Okay, so now that we got the flying machine in place and the collection system in place, we're going to want to connect them together and make it so they both go at the same time and you don't have to flick them individually. So to do that, what we're going to do first is place a sticky piston there with a block next to it like that, and then place a torch under like that, and that should get extended. And now if you come under like this and place a repeater facing into that, whenever we power that, the flying machine should go off. So if we just do that, there goes the flying machine, and we can unpower this so we can get to working on the next part. Alright, now from this repeater, we're gonna want to go. Okay, now from this repeater, we're gonna want to go 3 out like this and place dust on top of all of them. Place a sticky piston there with a block on top of it, a block to this side and a block to that side. Put a lever on this block, a repeater on this one, and let's just flick this lever so it doesn't activate anything it shouldn't yet. And then we're going to want to place another block here with dust on top of it, then a block to each side with comparators on each end. Then another block with daylight detectors on top. One you're going to want to invert. And this just basically makes it so they activate at one time of day and one time of night. And the reason I make it do that is to give the sugarcane some time to grow. And then basically you will have max harvest each time the flying machine goes, and you won't just be collecting a couple. And then basically, once you place this comparator here, place a block here, so that makes it only when it's the max time of day, so when it's the exact afternoon, it will activate. Now for this one, we don't just place a block like that. We're going to want to actually go 5 out. So 3, 4, 5. Place a redstone block there. You can place a block under it if you want. It really doesn't matter. Then place 5 like this. So this one will make it activate at the most time of midnight. So basically the way these daylight detectors work is they output a value, and the highest value that they can output at night is 11. That's why we have a power of 11 going into the sign. And the highest value they can output during the day is 15. That's why we have a value of 15, as you can see here. Anyway, so that's the circuit to make it only activate every now and then. But now we want the circuit to actually connect this up and that up, and it'll activate all manually. Rather automatically, not manually. We don't want it to do it manually. Okay, so now to connect all this up, all we're gonna want to do is come to this block here. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Come one more out this way. Actually, one more out, but with a repeater on that one. And then dust on all the rest. Then after this repeater, we're gonna want to place a block like that with a dropper under it. And if we place this dropper before the dispenser is placed, you can hear it activated. And then basically from there, we're going to want to go 2 down and then place a pressure plate there. Then come down again like that, place some dust there, and then connect this up to that. So that basically makes it so whenever a block drops onto there, this will activate, and the only time that activates is when this gets activated. So the flying machine will go, then it'll activate these minecarts, and it'll make the minecarts go for 5 minutes. So that should give it enough time to pick up everything, and it won't go continuously. But just in case any blocks decide to fly out, we're going to want to place some glass like this. Doesn't have to be glass, but I like to just see inside. Now you can either just completely load this with blocks, so it keeps lasting for ages, and then you can place a chest with even more blocks, and that should last you forever and ever. But just so it does it automatically, I like to put chickens so they keep laying eggs and we don't have to worry about ever restocking. So if we just throw a bunch of eggs in there, eventually we will start to get chickens, and once they grow older into adults, they will start to lay eggs into this hopper. And apparently that one decided to jump out. Anyway, that should be enough, but you can fill it up completely if you want. And then these chickens will start to lay eggs, which will go into here, which will then drop it onto there. Now, I think we're ready to give it all a test run. The entire thing over. So, make sure all the minecarts are in place, and we can break these because I didn't mean to do that. So, all the minecarts are in place, perfect. Flying machines where it should be. Everything is built, and now we can give all of this a test run. And as I said, it'll activate at noon. So if we do /time set noon, there we go. You can see it activated, except I forgot to /time set day just to re-switch it. I forgot to turn it on. So this is the on-off switch. If you don't want it going continuously, you can turn it off. So it's off when this is up, on when this is down. So if we time set noon again, there we go. And I forgot to add delay here. Alright. Trial number 3. There we go. Not enough delay. Okay. Alright, now this is why we test things. So before you activate your system, let's say it's daytime. Before you activate your system, flick this on. Make sure this is on 4 ticks of delay. And then /time set noon. That activates, and then off we go. And these actually already activated down here because the item dropped on top of it. But here we go. Everything is working now. all of this is getting destroyed, as you can see, and this should come on back, and we should also see all the items being dispensed, and for some reason these have decided to stop. Not exactly sure why. Yes, I am, because there's not enough signal. We just need to move the repeater once we put this in. Alright, there we go. Everything is working now. But as you might notice, if you come around to the back, you can see some drops falling off the edge here. And it's not a lot compared to the overall scheme of things, but we probably don't want to be losing any drops. That's why we're going to build this back here. And you always lose some drops, but it's going to be a lot less once we build that back part. Alright, so now to build this catcher thing at the back, all we're going to want to do is place some leaves at the very back of this block and kind of build it up to the same height as this over here. And then we're going to want to go down until you reach the height of the floor. So if we just bring some hoppers across, you can see that is the right height right here. Then we're just going to build this across the entire length of the farm, just like that, and then build the entire wall up, and then we can get on to placing the hoppers. Okay, so now once you've got that whole wall down, go to either side. I'm going to pick the left side here, and basically go to this block here, go out one. These can be any blocks, don't have to be redstone, just temporary. Then place chest like that, or you can place a dropper and auto dropper system again, but I'm just going to use chests here. And then what we're going to want to do is just build a huge strip going down this way until you get to the opposite end of the farm. And we're going to go one more out so it lines up with this. And then we do the same here again. But this time we're going to go this way. And again until we reach the end. And then we're going to want to just feed into these hoppers like that. Then the same for the other side, feed into these ones. And then for this middle strip, we can just feed into this one. Doesn't really matter where you feed into, just as long as it all goes into the chest. And you can see exactly where all of these lead with this texture pack I got on. And yeah, they all lead into this chest. Now, before we call this farm 100% done, we're going to add a collection system down here. And for that, I'm just going to use a bit of water. And we're going to want some ice just to allow the water to flow. So if we just place ice along here, that will make it flow along. But we need some blocks here so the water doesn't flow out. And we're going to do the same on the opposite side. So we do that. There we go. Now if we come here, place that, quickly place it back. Then we're going to want to get a pressure plate out, just a stone one so it doesn't activate anything when the items are going across. Find where the edge of the water is, clearly not there. Here we are. Going to want to place it one before a dropper, then place another water source. Do the same again, wherever the edge is, one before a dropper. Then this should lead pretty much all the way to the end, assuming I actually placed a new water source. This should lead all the way to the end now. We don't want it to overflow though. There we go. Now we can get a hopper out and place the hopper on these last few places of the water. So facing like that, like this. Actually, these don't need to be here. Those need to be chests. And then place your chest like this. Then you can go multiple high if you want to for more storage like that. Then you obviously can't open these chests, so we're just going to have to replace these with stairs like that. Now, everything should work as intended. Now you can just close that off just in case any come in too fast and make the system overflow. Now, let's start everything up. Everything should be back where it's supposed to be. There's a decent amount of sugarcane. Let's give it a test run. Alright, so now that the farm should be done, we can give it a test run. And through the use of some commands, I have grown all these to max height. You'll just have to wait a bit, and by the time it activates itself, it should be fine. Now, all we're going to have to do is turn the farm on. Set to the right time of day, or rather wait in your case if you're in survival without commands. Press enter, and we should start to see the farm activate itself. And there we go, all the sugarcane's breaking, and we should see an egg sitting on there, and then the minecarts rolling. And then we should start seeing items flowing through. And again, these will stop every now and then, just not every time. See, most of them stop there. And maybe these just don't have any items. And we should also be seeing some items being collected here. And these are clicking away, which is a good sign, because that means we are getting a lot of sugarcane. As you can see, they're kind of splitting across these chests. But if these hoppers can't keep up, it'll just sit on top of that last one. And eventually it will collect it all, because these have a 5-minute despawn timer. And 5 minutes is plenty for these hoppers to keep up. Now, as you can see here, some sugarcane gets stuck on the roof. You can build a roof if you want to, but I don't think it's worth it. Like 4 sugarcane, 5. That's really nothing. And we can chuck those back in as well if we want. But you can build a roof on top of this if you want to. Just make sure there's enough room for 3 to grow like that. Alright, I believe all the sugarcane has been collected, as none of these minecarts are stopping anymore. So let's see how much we got in total. So we got all this, all this, all this, 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 and this. And we can count that all up. But there should also be a bit over here. And we can add that to the total count. And we might just separate it so we can see what came from where. But this is just one run through. And this will happen 2 times a day, every single day. So you get that times 2, times however many days you're going to go AFK for. Or just hanging around the farm doing other stuff. And that is a lot of sugarcane, I'd say. More than anyone will need. And even in a server, this is more than enough to keep you going. But that is all for this episode. Farm complete, and hopefully you get some good use out of it. As always, if you have any problems with the farm, please don't feel afraid to leave a comment and ask me, hey, what the hell's going on? My farm's broken. And I will fix your farm, hopefully. But that is it for this episode, so I hope you did enjoy. If you did, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. But until next time, later guys.